Welcome to EASTBAY Church of Religious Science, where spirit abounds, love overflows, and spiritual transformation begins. Welcome home.
I am remembering who I am. I am the one. I am part of the one. A complete and total connection of God. My own individualized expression. For there is only the one life of God. That life is good. That life is magnificent. That life is overflowing and overexpanding. There is no separation. There is no disconnect. There is just God in, through, and surrounding all things. Every spot, every drop, every cell, every person, every flower, every bird, every dog, every cat and fish, every drop of water, every insect, every tree and flower. For we are all connected in this perfect life. We are all together in this perfect life. For no one is ever alone. So I speak my word this morning and I bless this service. I know that it is already perfect. It is already complete. It is already whole in the mind of God. I am thankful for the guidance and leadership of our board of trustees. I am thankful and grateful for the praying arms of our practitioners. I am grateful and thankful for our ministers, for their words, for their talks, for their prayers, and their strengths. I am grateful. I'm grateful for this building that holds us, that surrounds us, that is still standing today, that we own. I am grateful. And I know this service is blessed. It is whole, it is complete, and it is perfect. And I just release these words, letting them be so. And so it is.
I am remembering who I am. I am remembering
Yes, let us all remember who we are. Welcome, 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 East Bay, and thank you for joining in on our Sunday celebration. At this time, we will hear our sacred covenant. Please recite along with the video.
There is only one life. This life is good. This life is God. This life is my life now. And knowing that I am one with this life that is God, I therefore know that I am one with all its blessed expressions, which includes the presence of a new minister for our beloved spiritual community. Because I know that the highest purpose of our new ministry is to glorify God, I therefore know that my new ministry is a revelation of God and love as love. I further know that my new ministry is the fulfillment of that which has been promised by God, for it is written. True love has the power to heal and transform any situation that brings deep meaning to our lives. Love is patient. Love is kind. It always honors, always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails.
As I stand in agreement with my beloved community, I see my new minister revealed before me as a beacon of light, growing us with love and wisdom. Knowing that I and my beloved community must become that which we intend to bring forth and express in our new minister. I now know these truths about myself. I am inspiring, uplifting, and activating our community to live in harmony with all life. I am igniting individual and collective energetic movement towards spiritual truth and freedom. I am modeling and supporting profound levels of connection, healing, revealing, and growth in myself and community. I am cultivating an environment in which social justice and care for the needs of our greater community is part of our culture. I am engaging in mystical teachings and practices that support deep personal and collective transformation and connection to oneness. As I now accept the highest expression of a new minister into my life, I know that they will be revealed in a way that will glorify God and serve the highest and greatest good of all who are touched by their presence. I am grateful, God is gracious, and so it is.
And in addition to all of our wonderful announcements, I personally would like to remind you that there is no need to be alone. If you are in need of prayer or counsel, please visit one of our prayer rooms right after this service. And if you are experiencing grief or loss, then definitely come out on May 8th and join our Grief and Loss Ministry. For more information, please see EBCRS.org. Right now, I would like to acknowledge our music ministry. Our musical inspiration today will be performed by Reflection Band, featuring Sharon Henderson, Mark Rickey on keyboard, and Lee Henderson on bass. After their incredible blessings of praise, the next voice you will hear is the one and the only, the irreverent Reverend Dereca Blackmon. And now, here is Reflection.
Good morning, beloved community. Real briefly, I want to remind you that you can get your essential fan at the EASTBAY Church of Religious Science site. This is a fundraiser for the choir, and we're asking everybody to buy your fan. You can get the church fan with just the church members for $20, or you can get your face on a fan for $25. All you need to do is send in a horizontal picture, and you too can have your fantastic fan because you are an essential fan. Please help us with this fundraiser. Thank you very much, and we love you and bless you. A place where there's love overflowing. I wish I was home. I wish I was back there with the things I've been knowing. When that makes the tall grass bend into leaf, suddenly the snowflakes that fall have a meaning, sprinkling the seed makes it all clean. Maybe there's a chance for me to go back now that I have some direction. Sure would be nice for me to be back home where there's love and affection. And just maybe I can convince time to slow up, giving me enough time in my life to grow up. Time be my friend and let me start again. Suddenly my world's gone and changed its face, but I still know where I'm going. I have had my mind spun around in space, and I watched it grow. For us to believe the things that we see. Tell us, should we stay or should we run away? Or would it be better just to let things be? Oh, living here in this brand new world might be a fantasy.
welcome to the East Bay Church of Religious Science. I am Reverend Dereca Blackmon. I use she and they gender pronouns, and I always like to let you know what my gender pronouns are because you can't tell what they are by looking at me. I am so excited to welcome you right where you are, whenever you are watching this. Just know that the East Bay Church is with you. Excited to rejoice in the music we've been hearing by reflection today. My topic for today is coming home to yourself. So I asked the amazing Sharon D. Henderson to bring reflection together and to give you this song, Home, by Stephanie Mills. It was written by Charlie Smalls for the Wiz soundtrack, and some of you may be very familiar with the Wiz, and some of you may find this a lot different than the Julie Andrews version of Home. And part of the reason why we love this particular song is because it gives us what we like to call in religious science a mental equivalent. So the mental equivalent is such an important part of this philosophy because it is the idea that we have to have an idea, something to hold on to, something to anchor our consciousness in that reminds us of the truth. We talk about the truth here with a capital T, the one that is unalterable, the one that is true across all religions, that is not, as we say, a respecter of persons. And so as we delve into this topic today, I always want to start with gratitude. I'm so grateful for reflection, grateful for our pulpit assistants, our pulpit ministry, and all the people who are praying right now for this service and who are available to pray with you after this service. Thankful for our tech support in the sanctuary that make the video and the audio sound great. Thankful for our ministry, for the volunteers, for all of the people, the board of directors who make this a vibrant community. And of course, thankful for you because you showed up today. Something inside said, this is a message for me. And so I'm grateful for me being able to surrender and let God, Spirit, the divine, most high energy give whatever it can through me as a vessel. So when I thought today about coming home to myself, it was really a journey that I've been on personally. And many of you know that about a year plus, I quit my job at Stanford University and decided to kind of go out and explore the world and figure out where I wanted home to be. Now, of course, 2020 wasn't the year to really be exploring the world. And so that was something I recognized pretty early on. And I ended up settling in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and I still continue to go out and figure out what does home mean to me. So this song has a lot of resonance for me, and I thought it might be interesting to go through a couple of different lines and verses in it and see what we can find to use as part of our mental equivalent. So before the song even begins, Stephanie Mills, in her brilliant talent, gives kind of a little preamble to set the time and place of the actual moment. And so what she does is she talks about what her vision of home is. And she says, when I think of home, I think of a resting place. And whoo, some of us really need some rest right about now in this post-COVID. Are we post-COVID? Are we mid-COVID? What does the vaccine mean for us? We're going to get into that in a second. But so, I think of a resting place, as she says, a place where there's peace and quiet and serenity. And she says that she has some friends who have gone there, right? And they've traveled with her through this journey of Oz, and she'll never forget them. And I just wanted to invoke today. I was thinking about some of my ancestors, the folks in my family, but also some of our friends along the way who have gone into this place almost like heaven, right? Whether you believe in that as a concept or not, it's a mental equivalent. It's the idea of a place of peace and quiet and joy and serenity and prosperity and everlasting life. And so I just want to lift up my ancestors, right? Merlila, Warren, and Clinton Blackmon, Anne, and John Johnson. And I want to just invite you to take a moment to invoke your ancestors. Bring them with you on this journey into self. And just say their names. It could be people in your family that you know, or we could talk about some of our young people most recently who have become ancestors too soon. someone who inspires you, someone you just want to remember in this mental equivalent place. I want to also take a moment to acknowledge some of the ancestors in the East Bay Church, some of our practitioners who have gone on, so many of whom have deeply touched my life, from Greer and Reggie and Yemen Jah and Eleanor and C. Diane, Sharon and Charles and Tish and Enid, Miss M, Lynn, Sunny, Rita, Ditri, Nirvana. So many people who can still be our teachers in the realm of everlasting life by their models, by their lived examples of service, of dedication, of joy, of peace. So many qualities are embodied in that mental equivalent. And that is the idea of God itself, the infinite good, unlimited, all the good that God is. So we practice Sankofa, we go back before we go forward. So bring your ancestors with you on this journey. Now, one of the most famous lines in this song is the very first one, because there's something about the quality of Stephanie Mills' voice that she says, when I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. Now, if you've been blessed to have that physical equivalent of a mental place of peace and serenity, of love overflowing, then I just want you to call upon that right now. For me, it was my Nana Ann Johnson, her house, and I talked about that before, just the idea of being in this place where there was so much quiet and so much of a place where prayer had happened and love had happened and joy had happened, that it feels like it seeps into the ethers of the building. The East Bay Church is like that for so many of us. And if you can just hold on to a place that you've been where you felt love, or you felt love in the space, that's a powerful mental equivalent that we want to put in our toolkit as we go on this journey through life, through Oz, as it were. Now, for some folks, the powerful mental equivalent isn't a house or a building. It's the exact opposite. It's being outside in nature. And I love this part of the song. Stephanie Mills talks about wind that makes the tall grass bend into leaning. She said, suddenly the raindrops that fall have a meaning. They're sprinkling the scene and making it all clean. That's how some of us feel out in nature. We just had Earth Day, and I want us to remember to be inspired by the earth. I've moved to the Virgin Islands, and I've had this consciousness that I'm trying to combat around hurricanes, and just the wind and the raindrops in this song made me think, okay, I got to go back and remember that in the hurricanes, this is a response. Nature actually giving us the feedback. We have to change the way we're operating with the planet. That's what Earth Day was a reminder for us to say. The way we're operating, the feedback that we're getting, the fires and earthquakes and hurricanes, the tsunamis, there's some feedback coming to us. And rather than curse the feedback, it's an opportunity to look at the input we're giving, right? The care we may not be taking with the planet, right? And that is the opportunity for us to really reflect on the power of a hurricane as a message, right? She says it's sprinkling the scene and making it all clean. Right? It's washing away the damage that we've done and just pushing back on us. And so I'm actually really fascinated with this idea now of the scene being all clean, because if you've been out in nature during this time where we've been separate from so many other people, you've had this connection, this rejuvenation, that no matter what it is that we are putting out that's negative in the planet is resilient. It is sitting there in its resplendence and beauty, waiting for us to notice that it's still peaceful, it's still beautiful, it's still infinite. And that's critical to us as we go on this journey called life, that we recognize the infinite, inalterable beauty of the planet. That's an important thing for us to pay attention to. Now, another thing that the song talks about is the concept of time. And I don't know about you, but I've had some trouble in my life with being on time. And I feel that there's this thing of procrastination and being late for things that sometimes I carry a little shame about. You also have probably heard me talk a lot of times, if you've seen me before, about the book, The Big Leap. One of the most fascinating components of the book is a chapter near the very end called Einstein time. And it's been such a gift in my life. And it really corresponds to this moment in the song that says, and just maybe I can convince time to slow up, giving me enough time in my life to grow up. Time be my friend and let me start again. Now, what does this mean for us in this moment? It's that we often have this way where we're like, I just want everything to slow down. It's all going too fast. I need a chance to kind of catch up and get my head on straight in order to be able to do these things, right? If time is my friend, then maybe I can get a chance to start again. And here's the good news, you can. You can get a chance to start again. Einstein time is the idea that we don't fight with time. That if we actually surrender to the good that already is, time actually starts to slow down. I know it's hard to believe, but just try it. Instead of giving in to that worry and busyness and fear that it's not going to be enough. See, everything is based in the fear that there's not going to be enough, and time is no exception. The idea that there's not going to be enough time actually contributes to all of the mistakes and mishaps that happen as we're rushing to something. Because you know what happens when you're rushing, you forget your keys. When you're rushing, you walk out the house and have to go back in for something. When you're rushing, you can't find your glasses and they're on your face. Those are the kinds of things that happen. And this is such a powerful mental equivalent. Because when we slow down, and give ourselves time to grow up, even in that instant, in that moment, we grow into the quiet within us. This is why the practice of meditation is so important. So we can lean into that space we've cultivated in ourselves of quiet, right? That's the growing up. It's cultivating in ourselves a space of quiet that we can go to when we need to start again. So let's make friends with time. Let's make friends with it and just believe that if we take a breath, time can be our friend. So I want to talk about one of the places in the song where I kind of have a little tension, a little disagreement, a little pushback. And it's this line that's so plaintive when Stephanie Mills talks about it. She says, and if you're listening, God, please don't make it hard. And there's a lot more that goes into that verse around choices of what to stay, go, let it be. But I just want to talk about that part. If you're listening, God, please don't make it hard. And so I just want to say right now that whatever your construct is of the Most High, God is always listening. There is no absence, no time off, no back turned of the Most High divine spirit, because it's in us, it's with us, it's all around us, it's ever present, never failing, all revealing, all knowing, all powerful. And because it's all of that, we don't even have to ask the question if it's listening. Everything we say is a prayer. Everything we put out is coming back to us, manifest, or as the Bible says, pressed down and running over. So this is a truth. That's the first part. We don't have to worry about whether the universe is listening to what we put out. You plant a seed in the soil of the universe, something is already happening when you do that. Take that action of your intention. But this other part, God, please don't make it hard. Now, this is important because in metaphysics, in religious science, we teach that God is not an entity out there. See, prayer is a practice, not a plea. We're not begging some external force to give us something. What we're actually doing is tapping in to how that supposed external force lives in us. We are actually co-creating with it. So the thing that actually makes it hard is our lack of understanding of that partnership. The thing that actually makes it hard is the idea that God could ever not be listening, that we have this despotic God who would turn its back on us. had a conversation with a Uber driver today, and I told him I would share about our experience today. He's a Muslim brother, but so many of us assume that Islam is such a fundamental religion that when I talked to him today about a queer family that I was visiting, that he would shut down. When I talked to him about the situation of not believing in evil or hell or the devil, that he would shut down. But it was such a wonderful conversation because he talked about God in your heart, and understanding the reality of that God lives in you, and that in his version of Judgment Day, all that we would be accountable for was our relationship with that divine energy. And so the only thing that makes it hard is that we make up stories about our distance from God. We make up stories about the fact that we don't know the right way to go because we separate ourselves from the divine knowing that lives in us, that never leaves us, that never turns its back on us. And so as we do this journey of the mental equivalent, we have to eliminate these mental ideas, these thoughts that have said to us, it can be hard because God might not be listening. So then we get into this, I have to plead for God to listen to me. I have to earn God to listen to me. I have to be worthy. I have to be without sin. There is no sin. There's only the lie of separation from the divinity that we already are. Now, one of the things that is best about this song, that's best about this movie, when I think about Charles Smalls and his imagination to write this music, it comes down to one core concept. He says, living here in this world might be a fantasy, but it's taught me to love, so it's real, as Stephanie says, so real to me. Now, lately I've been getting into the dictionary. It never was a thing I like to use in my talks, but I got into it again this week for this one, and here's what it said about fantasy. I just was like, oh, I have to use this. It said, fantasy is the faculty or activity of imagining things, especially things that are impossible or improbable. Ooh, especially things that are impossible or improbable. So you should know that New Thought, that religious science, comes out of a healing tradition, a miracle tradition, the tradition that says whatever shows up in the physical can be dissolved by the mental, by the spiritual, by the divine intuition. So people came to this philosophy because they were having and experiencing and witnessing physical healing. And so when I started to think about fantasy, I began to think of it, right, not as looking just at impossible, because the way the dictionary is looking at fantasy is that you're fooling yourself, right? You're starting to believe in something that's impossible or unlikely, and it's skeptical about that. But see, we in New Thought, it's just the opposite. We look at this mental equivalent called fantasy as a vaccination for the mind. Because see, the way the vaccine is working is it's not that we're not going to face the COVID or the realities of life. That's not what the vaccine does. It just makes sure that when we encounter the difficulties of life, we are shielded from becoming sick with them. See, they're out there. It's not a denial that COVID is out there. It's a recognition that something now is in me that allows that not to touch me, to debilitate me, to end me in this physical form in any way, because I'm vaccinated. And I'm going to suggest that we ought to be vaccinated by this idea of fantasy, of things that seem impossible or improbable. Zig Ziglar said, your mind doesn't know the difference between reality and fantasy. Your mind acts on what you feed it, so feed it good things, right? Because here's what's happening in the song is that love is being manifest. Love is being manifest in this fantasy world called Oz. Maybe it's all fantastic. Maybe it's just not real, but what the lesson in it The lesson in it is love. So here's what happens. Whether your mental equivalent is your Nana's house, whether it's an ancestor that's gone on, whether your mental equivalent is nature, whatever it is, it's the rooting out of these non-useful, punitive ideas in our mind about God. Whatever your fantasy is, your heaven, as it were, whatever that place is that you can touch, it brings love into your awareness, into your consciousness. When we feed that belief in that impossible, improbable love, it changes us. We need that power right now. We need that power in our lives right now as we really face the challenges of our planet, right? Both in the physical and in the emotional, in the interpersonal, in the social. Maya Angelou said, a solitary fantasy can totally transform a million realities. Come on. A solitary fantasy can totally transform a million realities. This is what the power of art and protest is. People don't know that the Wiz is a statement of both art and protest, and we need that right now. As Reverend Deborah talks about our fire triangle, it needs the spark of the anchor of activism. We ought to be angry about the things that we're seeing, but it needs the oxygen. It needs the oxygen of a vision, and that's what fantasy is. Because everything that's a reality now was a fantasy before the protests happened to make it so. All of the rights that we have for people with disabilities, all of the rights that we have for folks who are LGBTQ+, all of the rights that we have for women, for people of color, for immigrants, for Black, whoever it is, all of those rights came from somebody who had a vision of something that was not yet real. This is the power of a mental equivalent, right? Black children and white children holding hands, freedom from slavery. There were things that somebody had to imagine when it wasn't true. That's the beauty of fantasy. And so what we want to do is actually be continually engaged in the process of, as we would say, going there. And she says at the end of the song, and I've learned that we must look inside our hearts to find a world full of love, like yours, like mine, like home. See, no one can give it to you. The things that you want in life, no one can give them to you. And the things that you are, no one can take it from you. I don't care what they did. I don't care what they said. I don't care when it happened. If it was 20 years ago or if it was 2 minutes ago, nothing can ever change the divine that we are. Nothing. And so as we look into our hearts, we find this connection with all life. With all people, we find this connection across all our differences, our religions, our nationalities, our genders, our races, our sexual orientations. We find this connection across all our differences, not so that we can be same, but so that we can be love in action. So I just want to invite you to go within now and come home to yourself. Mother, Father, God, we just give thanks. We give thanks for this opportunity to know you in the fullest, to know you as each and every one of us, to know the power of love, the power of joy, the power of peace, of prosperity, of order, of resilience, the power of home. Is the truth about what we divinely are promised as our very birthright, because we are all that God is. Because I am a cup of that ocean of goodness, I am able to speak my word and declare whatever it is that I will. I declare my own joy, my own peace, my own prosperity. I declare that I have peace and joy in that order, because that's what 50 has taught me, is to get the order straight. I've looked inside my heart and said, peace first. That's what I'll have for me. And whatever it is, there's only one of us. So whatever I'm claiming, you're claiming, and you're claiming, I'm claiming, because it's all one thing. It's all one infinite field of intelligence. And so I'm just giving thanks for knowing that. I'm giving thanks for each and every person who showed up here today willing to know something again, to come home to self again, willing to recognize that we can click our 3 heels because we got it all the time. And so I'm just doing the very most important thing that I can. I'm letting go. I'm taking my hands off of it. I don't know how to figure it out. I don't know everything that I can, but I'm looking inside my heart and I'm giving it to God. I'm recognizing that God is always listening. And so this prayer is already done in the heart, in the mind, in the spirit, in the power of God. So I let it go, and I invite you to anchor this truth in your own consciousness by saying, and so it is.
Holy, 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 holy is the I am. Holy, yes, I am. Blessed are we, strong and mighty. Holy is the I am. Holy, yes, I am. Filled with glory, comfort, mercy. Holy is the I am. Holy is I am.
Now it is time for our gracious giving. Know that your gifts help us to continue our work in transforming the community, one spirit at a time, one heart at a time. Let us recite today's affirmation together. I give prayerfully. I give with thanksgiving. Right where you are, let us all go into a place of gratitude and thanksgiving for all that we have received from East Bay. Please see our screen for ways that we can support our church, our building, and all of the people of our expanded community.
Precious, 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 precious is the I am. Precious, yes, I am. I know that God is my center, love and glory. Sing of praises in everything, for we're holy. Oh, oh, worthy, worthy, worthy. We are so worthy. Worthy is the I am. Worthy, yes, I am. Holy, 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 holy is the I am. Holy, yes, I am.
And in this moment, I bless all the gifts that are being sent in through text, through our website, through our mail, and our mail drop. I know that these gifts and offerings serve our greater community, our children, our elders, our young adults, our seniors, and those who are in need. I give thanks for all that we receive, and so it is.
Good morning, East Bay. I'm Precious Green, and these are your community announcements. If you're visiting with us for the first time, thank you and welcome to our community of love. If you would take a second, if you're watching live, go to the chat and use the hashtag visitors, all caps, so we can reach out to you. Otherwise, please sign our guest book, which is available on our website, www.ebcrs.org. Again, we are so happy you're with us. You are in for a treat. So as we get ready for this week, you know, East Bay, we always have a lot going on, but we are taking the time to honor the most important women in the room, the mamas. So if you have a picture of you with your mom, or you are the mom and you have some great pictures with your kids, send them on in. We have a special tribute planned for Mother's Day, and we want all of you to be a part. All of us have a mom, so why not celebrate her on this special day? The deadline for sending your pictures is Wednesday, May 5th. Simply forward them to us at info@ebcrs.org. We can't wait to see what you share. This Wednesday, our Faces Drive Up Food Pantry will be available from 3 to 5. Our food angels are there to support you. So if you or someone you know are in need, make sure you stop by the church campus. Again, from 3 to 5 p.m., and someone will bring the groceries and other food items out to your car. And later on Wednesday, you want to make sure you power up with our own practitioner, Kay Suzanne Massey. She is going to be leading our Wednesday midweek power hour. So don't forget, meditations at 6:15, and this powerful service starts at 6:30. Our Latino Ministry is also meeting this week, so the details for all of our weekly activities are on our website. As always, www.ebcrs.org. Just make sure you go to the calendar page. And this Saturday at 4 p.m., you are invited to join us for our Grief and Loss listening circles. This is a beautiful opportunity. If you are dealing with loss or grief of any sort, let us support you. Again, that is Saturday at 4 o'clock. Finally, today, I want to make sure to share some amazing opportunities for sacred service. Our community outreach ministry needs as many hands as possible to prepare our blessing bags. As you know, we average over 1,000 bags to support the Bay Area's homeless communities, and we want to do more, but we need more volunteers. So please reach out to practitioner Ona Afre for more information. And finally, thank you all so much, those of you who responded to our call for Love and Action submissions. We're so excited. I can't wait to share the poetry of our own Harriet Tubman Wright. But if you would like to write something or share your art, it's not too late. Just send your submissions to us at info@ebcrs.org. Thank you all. As always, make sure you go to our website for the latest information, updates, and more details about everything going on at East Bay. And that's www.ebcrs.org. Have a great day.
And now, as we begin the process of releasing and letting go of this service, please remember that our prayer rooms will be open in just a few moments. If you have something on your heart, please speak to a practitioner today. And as we leave this sacred space, I know that all is well, all is good, and all is in the perfect activity of God in this moment and in every moment. And so it is.
Before I start, I wanted to make sure that we made mention of one of our band members didn't get mentioned earlier. Vino on drums. We're so happy to have him back, and we're glad that our band is starting to come back in as COVID is starting to end. We're so happy. Again, Vino on drums, Mark Ricky on keys, Lee Henderson on bass, and I am Sharon D. Henderson, and we are Reflection. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. Say, in the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. And the songs of all my great-grandmothers, and the dreams of all my great-grandfathers, and the way to rise beyond the pain, all live, all live, all live in me. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. And the smiles of all the unborn children, and the dreams of a better day to come, and the dance of heaven with the earth, all live, all live, all live in me. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. Been robbed and disgraced, abused and displaced. We've been robbed and disgraced, been abused and displaced, been lied to, but lies can be seen through in the land. You can't fall from grace in the land. You cannot be heard in the land. There's always enough in the land. Always at home, always at home, always at home, always at home, always at home. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. In the land of I am more than I have
I am more than I will be. I am all that I am.